How are you? Nice to be here with you all in the start of this new year, 2026. It's great to be here, and tonight I am talking with you all about the family trip to Vietnam in July this year. Super exciting, mainly because A, it's Vietnam, B, it's a family trip, so this is something a little bit new for Pip and Co Travel. I've had a lot of great interest. I've only got space for one family, maybe two if I can sneak it in, but definitely one family only. So this is very exciting for lots of reasons. So, I would love it if you are tuning in, whether you're here live or you're watching the replay. Drop a comment, let me know where you're tuning in from. Hit a like so I know that you're here. I would love to say hi and know that you are here watching, or even if you are watching the replay, it's lovely to see your comments pop up in my feed as well. So, thank you again. I wanted to start with just saying a little bit about Pip and Co Travel. Many of you know my story. My name's Penny. I started Pip and Co Travel almost 2 years ago now, with a focus on running small group trips for women to Asia. I have two daughters myself, aged, oh, she's just turned 9 and 6. So family travel's always been, part of my life, an interest of mine, and I really wanted to give it a go and run a family trip. So I have run a trip in the past with families have come to in Australia. So now it is time to take that concept and take it overseas to one of the most family friendly destinations you could ever find. It is Vietnam. In particular, the town of Hoi An. So, if you are watching, have you been to Vietnam before? Pop it in the comments. Let me know. I am very curious to know. Um, it's an amazing place. If you have been, you will most likely know that there's so much to see and do. The food is sensational, super family friendly. Vietnamese people are so warm and welcoming and love children. Heaps of activities too, and different types of experiences, whether you're into beach, resort type experiences, cultural based, city based, history, cuisine based. I mean, Vietnam really does have something to offer everyone. So I am just checking to see if there's any comments on here yet, because I just want to make sure I'm doing this right. Yay, Nathan loves Vietnam. That's lovely. Um, so let's get into the nuts and bolts of the trip. Um, I've set the trip for a 6 night stay, 7 days, in the second week of the Victorian school holidays in July. So beginning on Sunday, the 5th of July, and running through to Saturday, the 11th of July. In some states, that's the first week of school holidays. But I chose that week because there is crossover in the majority of the states. So it works for a lot of people to be in school holidays at that time. So the first day of the trip, Sunday the 5th, um, we are all meeting in Hoi An. So the whole trip is in Hoi An. There's no moving around. And this was very intentional because I think for a family trip, it's really nice to stay in the one place, and there's so much to see and do in Hoi An anyway. It was a natural choice. Um, so I will talk about flights and access from Australia in a minute, but in terms of Hoi An, if you can imagine Vietnam, it's very long, skinny country with a huge amount of coastline. Hoi An's right in the center. On the beach, the major city near Hoi An is called Da Nang, and that is the airport that you will fly into. And from Da Nang to Hoi An, it's about a 30-40 minute road trip transfer, and that will be included in the in your price for the trip as well. I think it's always nice to have airport transfers included just to take the stress out of arriving and departing from a new place, especially when you're with kids as well. So in July, Vietnam has three different climates all happening at the one time. So July in the center of Vietnam is actually dry. It's not wet season like it is in the south and in the north. So in Hoi An, it's going to be mostly dry, lots of sunshine, blue skies. It's going to be hot. So average temperatures around 30, 31. So it will be hot for while we're there, which I think for a lot of us escaping winter in southern Australia, it's really nice to have some hot weather to look forward to in July. But yeah, just something to keep in mind. So prepare for hot weather. The way I've structured the itinerary for the week is that a lot of the activities and things we'll be doing will be in the morning. And so then after lunch, there'll be, time to just chill out, have a swim, go to the beach, have a nap in your air conditioned room, go and have a nice iced coffee somewhere just to escape from the heat of the day. And then, come 4, 5 o'clock, you know, as the sun goes down, it's a really nice time to get out and about and get into the old town and go for dinner and have an explore of the old town once the major heat of the day has died down. So that is my thinking behind the way the kind of days and stuff is structured. So I spoke about Da Nang as the major city near Hoi An. So that is the entry point for flying in for this trip. So you can get to Da Nang. There's no direct flights from Australia to Da Nang. So you do need to choose a layover city. And depending on what airline you go with, your layover might be in Saigon in Vietnam if you're flying Vietnam Airlines, or you might go through one of the many other Asian cities, Kuala Lumpur, Singapore, Bangkok, to get to Da Nang. And I'm more than happy to help you with flight research. I can't book flights for you, but I can help you with working out the best routes for you and your family to get to Hoi An, to get to Da Nang. So I generally say to people, if you're flying overnight, which in some cases you will be when you are flying to Vietnam, you might want to fly in the day before just to give yourself some time to adjust, recover from the flight. It's fine if you don't. It's fine if you arrive that morning as well. So you obviously will be picked up from the airport, and if you can arrive by early afternoon, 1 or 2 o'clock on the first day, that gives you plenty of time to settle in before we all meet in the late afternoon, early evening to say hi and to go out for our first dinner together. Um, so even though it's a tour, it's not like a fully structured tour where we're going to be on the go all the time in each other's pockets, eating a lot of meals together. There are quite a few meals included in the itinerary, but there's purposely a lot of downtime so that you and your family can spend that time together. Or if families are choosing, they might decide to all meet up and go out for a meal together as well. So it's going to be, up to you guys and to see how you feel on the day and through the week. Likewise, if there's activities that are included that you would prefer not to do, or you're not feeling up to it, or for whatever reason, there's no no compulsion to take part in everything. Obviously, it's going to be all super fun stuff, and you don't want to miss out on it. But there might be something that you just don't want to do, or you're not interested in, and that is perfectly fine. So in terms of accommodation, we are staying in a 3.5, 4-star hotel called the Amina Lantana Riverside Hotel, just outside the old town in Hoi An. It's a lovely location on the river, and there is a pool, a bar, restaurant, a spa, a little gym nearby to shops and cafes. So it's a really, really great option. There are, for families of 4, There are interconnecting rooms, so a king bed in one room with a connecting door into a room with two single beds. So for families of four and five, that will be the option for you. For smaller families of two or three, it'll be either a twin or a triple setup. Um, so that is the accommodation. You can have a look online too if you want to check out the hotel. Either give me a message and I'll send you the link, or yeah, just Google up and you will find the hotel on website booking.com or their own website as well. I might just put it in here so you've got the name of it. So a little bit about the accommodation. And as I'm going through, if you have any questions, please pop them in the comments. I would love to know what your questions are. If there's anything that you would be keen to know, just see if I can find out. Let's go back here. So at our accommodation, breakfast is included each day as well. It's a buffet breakfast. So that makes it nice and easy. And of course, if you want to, skip off and try some local breakfast as well, you're very welcome to do that. And activity wise, there's lots of amazing fun things to look forward to. The old town itself, Hoi An itself, is just beautiful. It's a UNESCO World Heritage listed site, and the old town is, there's lots of buildings that are preserved beautifully, and it's a really beautiful chance to walk through the town. The old town itself is pedestrianised, so you don't have to worry about cars or motorbikes, which is another reason why it's a super family friendly option. Not having to deal with traffic while you're in the old town is amazing. So one of the first things we'll do on this trip is have a kind of a guided walking kind of orientation through the old town itself, pointing out some of the main sites, some of the architecturally significant buildings, the market, the river, and of course there'll be lots of nice cafes and shops and things to stop at as well. The town itself has been influenced by so many different colonial influences and so many different periods of time. So that makes it super interesting as well. And I think even the kids get a kick out of, going over the Japanese covered bridge, going into old wooden houses that have got, mezzanine attic type setups, and it's really cool and really lovely courtyards. One of the other activities, which is a hit with adults and kids alike, is the cooking class, Vietnamese cooking class with a well-known local chef. So before the cooking class begins, we will have a chance to go to the market, get introduced to fruit, veggies, herbs, which we're not as familiar with here in Australia, at least in southern Australia, and then take some of those ingredients back to the restaurant, and where we do a half demonstration, half cooking experience, and then of course get to eat what we've prepared afterwards as well. I think even for kids who are not fond of other foods, it's a really nice experience to do that. And the best thing about Vietnam and also being in Hoi An is there is so many food options available. So if your child is just not into trying new things, don't worry, because there are all the good standby favorites available, like pizzas and burgers and chips and sandwiches and all of those things. So even if they, have a try and they're not really fond of it, then there's backup options available. And the other great thing is the fresh fruit juices and smoothies are next level delicious, amazing. For all the coffee loving parents, the coffee in Vietnam, as you may know, super strong, super tasty, can be very sweet. lots of variations, and iced coffee is just such a lovely treat to have on a hot day as well. Julia has asked, how long are those tours? Julia, I think, are you talking about just the individual tours, like doing the walking tour and around Hoi An? Generally, a couple of hours we'll spend walking around and looking at some of the architecture, but um, the guide obviously is really well used to taking cues from people in their group, and I will be there as well. So, if things are going on too long, we can cut it short. Likewise, if there are things that people are particularly interested in, we can extend as well. So I think that's the beauty of being with a small group, is we can play it by ear and shorten, lengthen as we need to. And people, of course, can meet us if they want to take a breather. Another cool activity I'm really looking forward to, because I haven't been there for so long, is taking the boat out to Cham Island, so off the coast of Hoi An, to a beautiful island that is really only kind of accessible during this period of year when it is dry season, so in that middle of time of the year, because otherwise it's too rough and it's no point going out there because the snorkeling's no good. But we will get to go snorkeling to at least one or two places, and there'll be lunch at a restaurant, a seaside restaurant out there as well. So it will be just over half a day and coming back after lunch. I think that's going to be amazing. And for non-swimmers, if you're happy to go in with a life jacket, or you'd prefer just to watch and do the boat ride, that's going to be possible as well, and explore the islands without going snorkeling. A really local experience which I love to support, and it's a hands-on workshop as well, is going to the art studio of a local woman called Thuy, who is a famous artist in Vietnam, and she also is expert in the traditional indigo tie-dyeing technique as well. So this is a really nice hands-on workshop, especially for kids who love, doing stuff and tactile stuff, and actually, creating something for their own, keepsake that they get to return home with as well. So you will get to create something to bring home with you. Something a bit culturally based, which is really cool, is a chance to visit the old Cham ruins at My Son. So this is a little bit out of Hoi An, so we will take a car to get out there. Their old temple structures, really, I guess, reminiscent of what you might see at Angkor Wat. Much smaller in scale, of course, but a really amazing chance to see these structures that were built, a long time ago. Like, we're talking as early as 4th century, right through to 12th, 13th century as well. So that's really amazing. And even for kids who aren't, particularly history minded, I think being out of town somewhere in a very different environment where they've got the chance to explore and to walk around and see these ruins up close, I think it's a really amazing experience. I hope that you can hear me okay. I hope my internet is working. Another amazing experience is a kayaking trip through the mangrove forest. So this is about a couple hours kayaking trip, and it's a very kind of sedate, calm river with lots of lovely shade from the mangroves around the riverside. And yeah, very much suitable to kids and to first-time kayakers, which is great. Of course, there's going to be afternoons to head to the beach. So the beach is outside of the Old Town district, so you do need to take a car there. It's a quick drive, a 10-minute drive, and I can help with booking cars and things like that, taxis. So it's all very easy to get around. Or you might like to sit by the pool. And there's some optional activities too, which are really exciting. Doing a cycling tour around the countryside of Hoi An is a particular favorite of mine. The cycling is super flat. It's perfect for kids because the majority of the cycling time is actually on a footpath, like a cycling path. So there's no cars or trucks or anything to worry about. And there's lots of great stops along the way where you get to meet noodle makers and farmers and weavers, and you get to eat some noodles. And I think, yeah, that's a great experience. So you can opt in to that because I know not everyone is keen on bike riding. So that's a nice extra add-on optional if you'd like to do that. There's also a wood carving workshop, a martial arts class, a coffee making workshop, and also the chance to go out into one of the local villages and have an experience with them as well, which is really cool. And that's an evening experience. So there's some of the highlights of the itinerary. There's so many things to look forward to, like I said, and if you are interested in getting the rundown of the full itinerary, I'll just pop the link of the website into the comments now so that you can find that. That will also take you to the booking page as well. In terms of inclusions, I mentioned before that breakfast is included each day. There's also 3 lunches and 1 dinner included as well. There'll be a local amazing guide to help us out with all those activities and extra things that we're doing as well. The activities that I mentioned are included: airport transfers, all the transport within the trip, and the accommodation. So there are a few things that are not included: your airfares from Australia, travel insurance, which is compulsory, meals and drinks not included on the itinerary, tips and extra kind of things that you want to spend money on, and visas. I will talk about visas quickly as well. Australian passport holders do need to apply for a visa for Vietnam in advance, and you can apply for that online. There is a link for the government visa issuing website on the booking system, and I will be in touch with you with plenty of time to remind you when to get that visa completed. So you just need to allow time to do that in advance. And from memory, it's $25 per person for that visa. So that's something that you will need to do before you head off to Vietnam. I think I have rushed through all these things, which is amazing. And I would love to know if you have any questions, any thoughts, any ideas, anything you would like to ask me at all before I sign off. As I mentioned, this recording will be available on Facebook to watch. I will also pop it up on YouTube and send it through to my mailing list. If you're not on my mailing list but you would like to be, please send me a message and I will add you on. Like I said, I've had a lot of interest in this trip, so I've got space for 1 family. So if you are keen, please don't delay, get in touch and get that spot sorted for yourself. Pricing wise, if you are a family of 4, the trip is $5,600. And then there are different prices. There's a family of 3 price for $4,200, and a family of 2 for $2,850, and a family of 5 for $6,950. And the deposit is $1,000 with the balance being paid 90 days before we head off. I will be joining this trip with my family as well, my husband and my 2 daughters. The age kind of range I put on was, I can't remember now if I said 4 or 5, but let's say 4, 4 to 15, or 4 to 14, anywhere in that age range, I think. And if you have kids outside of that age range and you're interested in coming, please get in touch because it might be possible, and suitable for your kids to come along as well. Um, if you would like to extend your trip as well, I'm happy to talk to you about options for that. You might like to stay in Hoi An, or you might like to travel somewhere else. I'm always up for chatting options for Vietnam because I love it. And yeah, very happy to help you with some ideas for that too. Um, so I think I will just check if there's any questions or if there's anything I haven't thought of. Um, in terms of health and safety, Vietnam is super safe from I guess, a personal safety point of view, which I really love. It is a developing country, so we always have to be aware of things that could be different. So things like I always think of like uneven pavements. So when we're walking, just be careful where we're stepping. Traffic rules are obviously something different that we need to keep across, and that the traffic's on a different side than we're used to. I think generally just being aware of our possessions, so things like crossbody handbags, and maybe, I don't know if you've seen them before, but the lanyards that you can get for your phone. I always find that's really handy because it feels so secure, and also make sure that I'm not going to leave it on a table in a cafe somewhere. Um, but overall, I think it's a really safe place to go. Um, if you wanted to ask me any questions about health and safety, please get in touch. Um, what else is there? Anything else that I'm missing that you would like to know? I'm trying to think about some questions that I've had recently. Um, so I've talked about climate, and I've talked about flights, inclusions in the itinerary, some of the highlights and activities to look forward to. Um, and I think one of the cool things about this trip is that it's organized for you. So if you've done family travel before, you know how stressful the research and the day-to-day logistics of traveling with a family can be when you're in a new place and you're like, oh, where should we go for dinner? Oh, how do we get transport to this place? Oh, should we even go there if it's worth it? The best thing about this trip is that you don't have to worry about that, because I've done all the legwork for you. Even on the nights where your dinner is not included as part of this trip, you can ask me or our guide for recommendations. There'll be a chance to go out with the other families on the trip if you want to. I think having kids together is such a lovely experience for them, because in so many ways it's like they learn from each other, and I'm looking forward to having kids on the trip that my daughters might see eating all these amazing foods and be inspired to try them as well. Likewise with some of the activities, just being there together and all giving it a go, I think is a really great thing. um, so I hope that gives you a taste and an overview of what you might be able to expect from this trip. Like I said, please get in touch. I have some times this week for phone chats. So if you would like to talk through the trip and have a phone call with me, I will put the booking link for the phone chats in the comment section on the Facebook Live. So you can find a time in there and book a time in. Um, and I will be back in touch soon. I will be doing another live in 2 weeks about a different trip, a women's trip going to Indonesia. So I might see you on Facebook again then. Thank you so much for joining. If you're watching the replay, thank you so much. Don't forget to send me a comment, or put a comment in the comments, or hit a like so I know that you've been here and you've watched it. I really appreciate your time. And I hope to see you very soon. Thank you so much.